Hello, I've got schizophrenia. I'm just saying that like it's hard coping. It's very hard to explain too. Like sometimes I used to feel that people used to treat me like a bully, and it used to sort of make me sit over the families, and then at the end of the day, you fall down while the family's all having fun. Even though I'd never really thought that, I used to be part of them in sort of a way. I didn't really like it. Like I really hated it because it's not. It's the force of Buddha, and it's the force of people who die around you. They sort of say that you're now one of our mob. Like when Brett Eggins, who used to sort of play the typewriter on my chest, and he used to take me through trips through the prickle bushes, which I found was fun. I'm not typewriter on my chest as such, but the prickle bush was fun because you got to be a normal boy kind of thing. But in a way, it hurt, and it was sort of painful in a way. And sometimes I feel that when I used to go out, I used to see people. Look, I used to feel people. Look, I used to feel people were trying to play with me, and play with me in a different way than played with someone else. The reason why I'm saying they played with me in a different way is because they sort of, when I was at the mall, they seemed to all sit there saying, "Oh, here comes that great champion." And at first, I thought it was a good thing because, well, why wouldn't you? Everyone's playing with it. And of course, I was thinking, am I some famous person? So I walked in as big as I came in, and they said, "How you going, mate?" And I said, "I'm fine." "You're the Love Shack dude." "Yeah, I'm really much the Love Shack dude." And it's a lot of bad stresses. Like I get really stressed easily. Like I used to sort of, at that stage I wasn't that stressed, and people liked me because I didn't have that much stress on me. But it's hard when I developed mental illness. When I first realised I had one, it's a shame after the event that took place back in 1990, which I don't really want to say, is that wasn't when I first discovered I had a mental illness. When I first discovered I had a mental illness, when I was running through the street going, like when someone tried to grab me one day, and I just thought I so much was going through my mind back in those days, and I didn't really like that. So I said to him, "Why don't you fuck off?" But it's hard. I was running for Civic. I used to go through we used to party in Civic. Then I used to catch the bus back into Balconnen. I used to party all over Balconnen. And occasionally if anyone came in and hassled me, I would sort of do that little kid man technique that not many people would understand. But it was all part of the mental illness because it was weird. No one really knew what I was doing. They thought I was being some kind of professional punk or something. Probably hard to say something here because I would like to have, I'd like to sort of have no schizophrenia. I would like to just be normal and, have a job. And I had this job, this volunteer job working at the library, which I found out later that I wasn't very good at it. And because I kept on, I got the money from my mum's paycheck, and I took it out of the thing, and I personally handed it to her. And I don't know why I did that. I sort of think it's against the law to do things like that. You have to sort of make sure that we collect it with everybody else. But there are other things I did wrong too. Like when I started fighting Dad again, is when he started. When I can't understand authority. And maybe I did have a problem of anger management in that stage too. I couldn't manage my anger, and because Dad was sort of trying to help me get through get through some bad patches, and I said no. I had to sort of understand. I had to sort of say to Dad, I want you to stop. And I felt like a robber. I was robbing him in his house, and I taking his money or taking all his stuff. I was actually at one stage taking all their money so I can go down and buy a beer with it. And drinking beer for me, like Coca, I might have written in a poem that Coca-Cola was my key to mental illness, but I reckon beer was. Now, doesn't actually say for everyone shouldn't drink beer though, because I actually had a stage where I was running a few problems, and beer didn't help me. I kept on drinking it down. I felt like a yobbo, drinking $50 worth of beer at the shop, spending all my pension on the beer. I was pissed. I had to sleep outside all these clubs. I remember sleeping on the ground outside. It's surprising I didn't get robbed. I was so out of it. And I felt, when I gave it up, I felt I don't really want to go back to it, because I really think that drinking beer is really a hazardous thing. Doesn't really make you feel good. It makes you feel bad in a way. It makes you feel that you can't keep your brain focused, because you're sort of thinking about partying. And I do like to party. I must admit, I try to find places where I can sort of party, but I don't really like partying as such. I like partying, but not beer drinking party. I don't mind just going to a place and just having a dance. That's normal partying, but partying to me is great. If you want to do it, fine, but you got to make sure that your family's looked after, and you can't just go out and drink a lot of beer and then fight your family. I have been having champagne since I got the trainer. I might not be able to do my champagne drinking. And that phone call in that last video was just a friend. I had to sort of make sure I contact him, so that's all right. Oh yeah. I make sure I do tapestries, as a lot of people do. I do tapestries to sort of get rid of all the anxiety from my brain. I still think the medication is making me move around a bit, making me a bit itchy sort of around the beard and around the head. And it was making me sort of like I was the hooligan from way back, even though I had no intention of being a hooligan. I don't like the idea of being a hooligan, but I was a hooligan from way back, and that's what they were sort of saying to me. But I don't really understand why people would want to bully me. And I was just thinking, why this man had this idea one day, he wanted to use his fist, and he was going, just understand that I was having problems back then. Like, I had friends, and I was sort of people were thinking I was some kind of spazzo or something. And he hit me, and I said, why do they want to hit me? Why can't they just understand that what happened back then was part of a mental illness? They're so clear in the way they're thinking. But hitting people like this with the fist is hard. And of course, they even call one-punch attacks now, but I don't think this guy was doing a one-punch attack. I knew he was sort of just doing it because with everyone, I had a good life when I was young, but the life was good, but it was done through mental illness as well. Mental illness and family, separated in two categories. Mental illness in one corner and family in the other. And you have to, when they both clashed, you have to make sure you took it slowly. We took it slowly like that. But if they clash like that, you automatically assume that there's going to be a problem. A fight will break out, or an argument will break out. Some argument that makes no sense with the community. And as I said, and as I do keep telling you, I used to play TV shows. I'm not afraid to mention that. And the TV shows I used to play, were Breakfast Showdown, Kids Swamp In, and I used to have a sort of a vision for that. Like I always used to play the Raiders show. So every time the Raiders played on the radio or TV, I used to go into my room at the halftime, before game, halftime, at full time, to sort of do my little version, do my little talk back there. And it wasn't too bad. I felt people actually liked me for it, even though no one really knew what I was really doing until I started getting onto the YouTube recently. I've actually done a few tapestries of the radio show. Plus, I've done stories on hello poetry. But and as you can see, I might have got rid of a lot of my clips from YouTube because a lot of it was copyright, and I know that copyright is sort of a thing that Rupert Murdoch sort of introduced, so people don't copy other people's works. But I sort of copyright just by dancing. And I was just thinking, why am I getting in trouble for dancing to songs? So I said, no, I'm going to get rid of these and put on just my poem readings, maybe my story or something. But I find it's absolutely annoying watching stories. Okay, so absolutely, it is annoying though when you kind of think of it. Okay, so I'm sort of, as you can see, my mental illness is sort of making me go from one thing to another. And I'm often saying it's annoying what you think about. What's annoying is trying to say. You know what's annoying? Schizophrenia bugging in your brain. That's what's really annoying. There's nothing more annoying than having an illness where you can't do what you want to do. Like, I read a poem. I've got so many poems on Photo Booth, and I actually was part of the poetry slam, which you slam out your voice, and I was good at that. But I was starting to see that I looked like some kind of little dweeby man who had no brain, and I thought I was getting itchy, and I was starting to feel my hooligan coming back, or my little young dude coming back from a long time ago, and I didn't really want that because in hindsight, I don't really think that the young people really want to see what I was like back then. So I was trying to, I quit the poetry slam so I can sort of get back to doing other things. And as you can see, I do hear voices of people going, why do you quit that? Why do you quit that? Why do you quit that? And I start saying, it's annoying, mate. I get people helping me with my computer. Like, I recently got myself a new computer and I feel good with it. But I find when you're reading on YouTube and you're trying to get rid of all the stresses from your brain, and your brain's going like magical scenes. I was drinking a lot of Coke, and as you can see the teeth in me, but that's denture. I got no teeth at the top. That's a denture there. And I was drinking a lot of Coke, needed to go to the dentist a lot. I'm seeing a trainer at the moment because I'm trying to learn that Coke wasn't really the best thing for me to drink. Even though I drank it a lot on my YouTube shows. I think I got rid of a lot of those shows though because I was sort of thinking that it's not really the kind of message I really want to send to the world. I want to send to the world I've got schizophrenia and I've got problems. And we've all got problems. Like people say they've got problems. They can't figure out whether they have Weet-Bix or cornflakes. Well, I'm telling you now, mental illness problems are worse than that. You can't focus on how you're going to get your brain trying to beat schizophrenia, how to beat the problems. It makes you want to talk a lot too, like it makes you talk out of your head a bit. Like I remember in 2014, I started doing it. At the start of it, I was doing a course in a course in cartooning, which I was good at, mind you. I was a bit different than him, but I was very good. Then I started to go to a theatre where I was in a play and I was able to put one of my stories. Now, it is my religious story, but it's a whole heap of stories thrown into one. It's Hansel and Gretel meets Cronus, meets St. Nicholas, kind of thing. It's all, and it's got a bit of Jesus in it. It's all sort of, religion. I was reading last night that mental illness was the real answer to religion. Now, I don't know whether to believe that. I don't know. Anyway, and also, I've written a Buddhist poem, but I look back at it, some of the words a lot of people wouldn't really like, because it had the devil part of the work. The devil was a part of the situation. And I was sort of saying the devil's spear. I said, why would the devil's spear be in a Buddhist poem or a Buddhist story? And I was sort of thinking, And I was looking at it and I didn't really want to read it since that moment. Actually, that was the last Christmas episode I did, because I like Christmas and I like the peacefulness of it all. And I don't really think that a devil's spear in a Buddhist Christmas story will really be true, that a lot of Buddhists might get offended at. They might get offended if they see the story, because there's nothing that they don't want to say that they're devil to Christians' eyes, even though they might be, but they don't want to say that. I did a show a few years ago, which I think I took off YouTube, only because I was partying and I might have had a few. What was it? I might have had a few copyright concerns because I was dancing to a few songs on my iTunes package. And I understand that it's not good to do that. It's good to sort of, if you want to do it, but I still think you've got to be careful of trying to be careful with writing a poem or dancing to a song on YouTube and then realising that song has been paid by so much of the government and you have to pay. Lucky I wasn't in trouble, but I still think it was wrong, because I think that they've got a right to protect their music from being copyrighted. So you just got to be very careful. I know it's hard for me to explain because my voice is hard. The medication's making my voice sound a bit more, well, I don't know if it's making it more grown up or something. I don't know. I've got no idea. Okay, well, that's about it for the second one. I'll just see how you're going. Okay, I've got schizophrenia.